Secrets are skillfully hidden in plain sight. Symbols, like threads, are woven into the fabric of our world, and the keys to their unraveling were left by those who possessed knowledge that eluded most. They were the architects of temples, the guardians of secrets, and their legacy extends far beyond stone and architecture. This was a design aimed at transforming human consciousness. Imagine uncovering this hidden knowledge, wielding the same power that shaped empires, by following symbols that whisper of might, balance, and rebirth. This is not merely a story of the past. It is a key to your own potential. If you continue, you will learn how to use this language of the soul to grasp what was once accessible to only a few. But be prepared. Once you see it, your view of the world will never be the same. Consider for a moment the builder, not merely a craftsman, but one entrusted to erect a temple unlike any other. A temple both eternal and unseen, constructed not of stone, but from the very substance of the human spirit. This is the work of the mason, symbolizing the path each of us is destined to walk. The tools and designs are metaphors for how we can build ourselves, laying a strong foundation of character and strength. Symbols such as the square, compasses, and the all-seeing eye may seem enigmatic, yet each carries a specific message. The square embodies moral integrity, guiding our choices. The compasses remind us of the need to strive for balance and measure in all things. And the all-seeing eye symbolizes the vigilant awareness we must develop, learning to see the unseen, to grasp the hidden patterns that shape our lives. But these symbols are not just isolated images. Together, they form a grand design. They are a call to action, a challenge for each of us to awaken, to transcend the ordinary, and to achieve a deeper understanding of our purpose and potential. Masons called this the builder's path, but it is a path meant for all who dare to follow it. In this narrative, we are not merely deciphering symbols. We are embarking on this journey ourselves, grasping the wisdom that underlies the Masonic tradition. And as we progress, we will see how this symbolic language leads the builder through one of existence's most enigmatic and powerful transformations. So, we begin with the builder's path, a journey that reveals the struggle, purpose, and resilience required to bring light into darkness and meaning into chaos. Let us delve into this story. In the legends of Masonic tradition, the builder is tasked with creating a masterpiece, but he faces an unusual challenge. He must build without the familiar sounds of hammer and chisel, without guidance from others. This is no ordinary construction. It is the erection of a temple of mind and soul, crafted solely from his inner resources, patience, and vision. Every layer, every element of this temple is a part of himself, his beliefs, his values, his experiences. And with each stone he lays, he draws closer to understanding his purpose, his true self. However, like any significant journey, obstacles lie in wait for the builder. Three powerful forces stand in his way: thought, emotion, and action. These allies, possessing immense power, are simultaneously dangerous adversaries, as each is capable of both creation and destruction. Thought embodies the builder's mind, that ceaseless flow of ideas and questions that either propels him forward or clouds his vision. Emotion is the overwhelming force of feeling that fuels his passion, but can also easily lead him astray. And action, the builder's embodied will, determines whether his intentions materialize or crumble. Collectively, these three forces test him, shaping the outcome of his work and ultimately his character. Initially, these forces betray the builder. Thought becomes distorted, turning into doubt. Emotions spiral out of control, giving rise to unrestrained desires, and actions become reckless, bordering on destruction. His creation, the very temple he is building, seems on the verge of collapse. But the builder is not one to give up. He realizes that to succeed, he must harness these forces, bringing them into harmony so they work together. He must learn to guide his thoughts with clarity, temper his emotions with wisdom, and direct his actions toward a specific purpose. Only then can he continue his work and fulfill the destiny that brought him here. This story is not merely an allegory. It serves as a reminder that each of us is such a builder in our own lives. We all construct something meaningful, bringing together the elements of our personality, our dreams, and our convictions. Each of us faces the forces of thought, emotion, and action, and like the builder, we are called to establish balance among them. Thought, devoid of clarity, breeds confusion. Emotion, without restraint, devolves into chaos. And action, undirected by purpose, can destroy everything we have worked so diligently to build. Thus, the builder's path is simultaneously a path of self-improvement. It involves finding strength in resilience, recognizing that every challenge is an integral part of the process. Just as a sculptor carves away excess stone to reveal a work of art, we must overcome our own imperfections, refine the rough edges of our personality to create something outstanding. Masonic legend states that the builder eventually reaches a turning point. He faces betrayal, hardship, and even isolation. But it is at this moment that he makes a choice to forgive, to keep moving forward, and to trust the process. He realizes that the tools given to him, the very ones that almost destroyed him, are in fact the keys to his own evolution. Only through struggle, through mastering these tools with skill and awareness, can he reveal the temple hidden within him. In Masonic tradition, this story of the builder is also a story of resurrection. The builder, once solitary in his struggle, transforms into a master, elevated above worldly concerns. He is reborn not through miracles or divine intervention, but through his dedication to the chosen path. He learned to create, to shape, and ultimately to transcend himself. Now, let us examine more closely the symbols guiding the builder, guiding us toward understanding this path and unlocking the deeper meaning that lies within the interplay of light and shadow, in the language of symbols, and in the eternal process of erecting a temple that stands not on earth, but within ourselves. Light and darkness, eternal categories, have long held sway over the human imagination. In Masonic tradition, they appear not merely as polar opposites, but as the quintessential internal struggle between ignorance and knowledge, chaos and order, insight and blindness. However, what if, instead of antagonism, these forces are necessary companions on the arduous path of self-discovery? Imagine the solitude in impenetrable darkness. Initial fear, confusion, and a sense of being lost are inevitable. But then, a timid flame emerges, a ray of light in the boundless void, symbolizing knowledge, awareness, and the beginning of insight. Masons teach that light gains its value only in contrast with darkness. It is in darkness that light shines most brightly. Therefore, darkness is not merely the absence of light, but fertile ground, a source of untapped potential. dormant possibilities awaiting their moment. Recall how often in life we avoid darkness, be it painful memories, difficult challenges, or the uncertainty of the future. We are taught to fear the unknown. However, in the Masonic system, darkness is the starting point, a blank canvas upon which we create our inner worlds. By confronting our own darkness, we begin the process of self-creation, clarifying what we previously preferred to ignore or conceal. In Masonic art, the builder is depicted in blue robes, crowned with a golden radiance. Blue symbolizes wisdom, an unperturbed presence at the heart of mystery, while gold represents enlightenment, a ray of insight dispelling the gloom of ignorance. The builder stands at the boundary of light and darkness, mastering the art of interacting with both forces. He understands that light reveals, but it is in darkness that transformation originates. However, light and darkness are not just metaphors, but active tools. Masons assert that embracing both forces allows for a holistic understanding of oneself. Darkness is not merely an obstacle to be overcome, but a phenomenon requiring comprehension and reflection. The hidden aspects of the mind, those corners we often ignore, hold valuable lessons. We are called to bring the light of awareness into these areas, to explore them with courage and curiosity rather than with fear. But there is also danger. The builder realizes that an excess of light can blind just as much as darkness. In a world saturated with information, endless distractions, and external expectations, it is easy to lose one's bearings and forget what is truly important. Therefore, a balance must be found. Cultivate light without losing oneself. Illuminate without eclipsing. As the builder progresses, he understands that light is not an external force, but an internal state born from understanding, resilience, and a willingness to confront one's own shadows. It is this inner light that guides him forward, serving as a reliable beacon in the turbulent sea of uncertainty, pointing the way even in the darkest times. What does this mean for each of us? Working with light and darkness implies recognizing that every trial, every experience contains a hidden lesson, a piece of the puzzle that shapes our personality. The Masonic builder teaches that true growth comes not from avoiding difficulties, but from embracing them. The light we seek is not outside, but within us, and we must cultivate and manifest it. In the following sections, we will delve into how Masons use the symbol of the ladder, the path of mastery and knowledge, to guide the builder through the worlds of light and darkness. This journey is a continuous ascent, step by step, where each step reveals a new level of meaning, purpose, and self-knowledge. In Masonic doctrine, the image of the ladder is imbued with profound meaning. It is not merely a means of moving between levels, but a metaphorical ascent to mastery, a gradual deepening of understanding and personal growth. Each rung on this ladder is a symbol, a challenge requiring overcoming, a valuable lesson to be learned. The ladder beckons the builder to ascend, to expand the horizons of mind and spirit, bringing him closer to wisdom with each new step. At the foot of the ladder, at ground level, stand two majestic columns, embodying the dualism of existence. They symbolize the opposition of light and darkness, order and chaos, the visible and the invisible. To take the first step, the builder must recognize this duality, accepting life as a balance of opposites. This is the foundation upon which all further ascent rests. Without this foundation, progress is impossible, for it is in overcoming life's contradictions that the builder gains strength and wisdom. As he ascends, the builder encounters 7 steps, each symbolizing an important area of human knowledge: grammar, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. In Masonic tradition, these disciplines are not just academic subjects, but stages of a spiritual journey. Grammar and rhetoric teach clear expression and understanding of others, formulating one's own truth. Logic and arithmetic develop critical thinking and problem-solving abilities. Geometry and astronomy reveal the harmony of the universe, the beauty and precision of creation. Music, the language of the soul, reminds us of rhythm and harmony, of the unseen forces that govern life. Each of these disciplines serves as a tool, shaping the builder's mind and soul. These are steps of perfection, helping to organize thoughts, refine speech, and give meaning to actions. Masons believed that mastering these areas of knowledge prepares an individual not only to understand the world, but also to transcend it, to grasp a higher reality. However, the ladder does not end there. Beyond the 7 steps of knowledge follow 5 steps symbolizing the senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. These are the tools for perceiving the world, allowing one to experience the fullness of life. But the senses, as the builder learns, are a double-edged sword. They can both reveal truth and deceive. Sight can grant beauty, but also blind with illusions. Hearing can bring wisdom, but also lead astray with falsehoods. Masons teach that each sense must be refined to serve the builder's higher purpose, rather than distract from it. Finally, at the summit of the ladder are the last 3 steps, symbolizing the ancient trinity present in many spiritual traditions. They represent 3 aspects of the human being: body, mind, and spirit. These 3 unities are the ultimate balance, the culmination of the spiritual path. They remind the builder that he is not only a physical being, but also a mind and a soul. True mastery lies in the harmonious unification of these 3 principles. The ascent of the ladder symbolizes transformation, from ignorance to understanding, from disorder to harmony, from isolation to unity. However, this is not an escape from reality, but a striving for its deep comprehension, the ability to see things in their true light, to empathize and to act consciously. The ladder beckons each of us to self-improvement, to elevate our own being, to bring something valuable into the world. This path has no end. The ladder, reaching into infinity, leads us to new levels of awareness. Each step becomes a form of meditation, a spiritual practice, a call to awakening. Masons teach that the apprehension of wisdom is not a sudden epiphany, but a series of gradual discoveries, bringing us closer to the light of truth. As we continue our ascent, let us remember the lessons of the ladder, using them as tools for building our life's path. Next, let us turn our gaze to the last and perhaps most mysterious symbol, the all-seeing eye. This symbol crowns the ascent, representing the culmination of the spiritual quest, a vision that penetrates the veil of the mundane, an awareness that transcends the boundaries of illusion. At the pinnacle of the Masonic path stands one of the most enigmatic and significant symbols, the Eye of Providence, also known as the all-seeing eye. This eye, enclosed within a triangle, gazes upon the world, embodying wisdom, guidance, and discernment. But what is its true meaning? Why has this symbol, throughout centuries, evoked such strong feelings, from admiration and inspiration to anxiety and apprehension? The eye of providence is not just an eye, but a symbol of vision that extends beyond physical perception, a form of awareness that transcends the ordinary. It is often associated with the idea of divine oversight, a guiding force or a consciousness that observes and understands all things. For Masons, this symbol embodies the highest state of awareness, a glimpse into the depths of reality, where one sees not only the surrounding world, but also oneself, liberated from illusions. To look through the eye of providence means to see the essence of things, to penetrate beyond the surface of phenomena, to grasp the very nature of existence. In Masonic teachings, the eye of providence also serves as a reminder that we are never alone. It symbolizes the inner observer, that part of us that silently monitors our thoughts, actions, and motives. This inner voice calls us to accountability, urges us to act honestly, and to live in accordance with higher values. The all-seeing eye prompts us to consider, are we true to our purpose? Are we living conscientiously? Are we guided by wisdom? It serves as a constant reminder that we must cultivate this inner vision to gain control over our own lives. But that's not all. The triangle framing the eye also carries deep meaning. In esoteric tradition, the triangle symbolizes a trinity: body, mind, and spirit. Three components that, when in harmony, form a solid foundation for personal growth. Each side of the triangle holds significant meaning, and the eye within acts as a unifying force. It is a powerful symbol of harmony, asserting that only by balancing these three aspects can we see clearly and act purposefully. The gaze directed inward is not only a symbol of inner vision, but also a sign of unity. By contemplating the world through the prism of this eye, one becomes aware of the interconnectedness of all things, one's belonging to a grand design. Masons believe that each individual is an indispensable element in the magnificent architecture of the universe. Every choice, every action echoes throughout the universe, influencing its form. The all-seeing eye, like a wise mentor and vigilant guardian, calls for a conscious life, for responsibility for one's actions, for an understanding of one's role as a creator of the surrounding world. However, this eye also reveals an unpleasant truth. Clarity of vision does not always bring peace. It requires the courage to face one's weaknesses, to acknowledge shortcomings, to accept those aspects of one's personality that one would prefer to hide. True vision, according to Masons, demands honesty, humility, and bravery. The all-seeing eye encourages self-analysis, the search for answers to complex questions. It is an invitation to work on oneself, to bridge gaps in self-knowledge. It is a path to self-improvement, wisdom, and wholeness. As one progresses along this path, one realizes how inner vision transforms life, guiding oneself as the builder of one's own destiny. It is necessary to carry the light of this inner vision to become a creator of a world founded on honesty, purpose, and truth. In Masonic tradition, the idea of the inner temple holds a central place. This temple, unlike material structures, is an abode of mind and spirit, erected not by hands, but by one's intentions, actions, and values. The inner temple is the highest goal to which everyone aspires. Imagine that character, values, dreams, and actions are the stones and pillars of this temple. Every thought, every choice, every lesson learned strengthens its structure, giving it stability and power. But this task is not easy. Masons teach that building the inner temple requires self-discipline, self-control, and unwavering honesty. The foundation of this temple is laid in silence and solitude, in moments when no one is watching, when the only guide is the inner voice. Each stone represents a principle or virtue: honesty, compassion, resilience, courage. These elements form the walls of the temple, making it indestructible, like a stone temple that withstands the elements. The inner temple must endure life's trials, remaining unshaken even in a turbulent world. Every decision, every step towards self-improvement strengthens this temple, transforming it into a source of inner strength and a place of refuge. But the work does not end with the erection of walls. Within the temple lies a sacred space, a place of clarity and reflection. Here one meets oneself, searches for truth, and finds answers to questions that determine the path forward. In Masonic tradition, this inner sanctuary is a place for acquiring wisdom, a source of strength and courage needed to embrace both the light and dark sides of one's personality. It is a space of honesty, where one stands before oneself without masks, striving for self-improvement. Freemasons remind us that building a spiritual temple is a lifelong process, an endless pursuit of self-improvement and high ideals. Every experience and overcome challenge becomes a new layer, another stone in this construction. This temple grows with the individual, reflecting not only their current state but also their aspirations. Creating this inner sanctuary is not just a task for oneself. Once complete and strong, it becomes a source of service and inspiration for others. Like ancient temples, it radiates light into the world, reminding those around us of the inner strength and potential within each person. At the culmination of this journey, it is important to remember that the inner temple is both a gift and a responsibility. It is a call to live honestly, to build with purpose, and to radiate light into a world that needs it. Every step brings one closer to the temple of self-awareness, built not of stone, but of the highest ideals. In Masonic tradition, the ultimate judge of the inner temple is the individual themselves. The symbols, rituals, and teachings guide the builder on a path of self-mastery, integrity, and wisdom. However, the final judgment is rendered not by an external force, but by the individual, assessing the value of the inner temple they have created. In Masonic tradition, everyone is responsible for their own inner work. Choices, actions, and intentions form the foundation, walls, and sacred space of the inner temple. The builder must also be an observer, ensuring that the structure aligns with their values, purpose, and truth. They become both the architect and the judge, responsible for the construction and its integrity. This idea calls for a responsible life. Every stone placed in the temple of self, every thought, decision, and action must withstand the test of time. One must ask themselves if they are building conscientiously, if they are true to their highest values, and if their actions align with their principles. Judgment becomes a process of honest self-assessment and continuous improvement. Masons teach that at the end of the journey, what matters is not the praise of others, rewards, or honors, but the knowledge that one has lived honestly and been true to the temple within. This final judgment is a continuous process, a daily reflection that leads to greater understanding, compassion, and strength. Ultimately, the inner temple stands before us as a mirror reflecting our essence, as the embodiment of our conscious decisions and creative efforts. By gazing upon the results of our labor, we grasp its profound purpose, recognize its enduring significance, and feel the legacy it will leave behind. Each of us becomes both the architect and the arbiter of our destiny, bearing full responsibility for the influence we exert on ourselves and the world around us. It is in this realization that the true essence of Masonic wisdom lies, in understanding that every individual is endowed with the power, responsibility, and sacred right to shape their own destiny while pursuing the highest goals. So, let each of us build tirelessly, guided by noble intentions, judge fairly and impartially, and live our lives as true builders of the unique reality we are called to create.